Hi, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm looking at your action figures back there. Is that Shazam up there? Like,
We've got the whole DC family is lurking behind me here.
nice.
Was being climbed on by a cat just a second ago, so we've removed him from the room for the time being.
Oh, I wanted to see that.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. Congratulations on the film. I absolutely loved it. I really appreciated that all of the heart of the first film is completely intact, but in this grander story that we're seeing this time around. After
Well,
the success of the first film, was going bigger something that you wanted to do to be able to show what these characters were capable of?
yeah. Well, first of all, thank you. But yeah, I mean, that felt like the natural thing to do because, like, at the end of the first one, the whole family gets superpowers. So it's like, well, now they all have powers, and you kind of have to go bigger. It's a sequel, so it's like, yeah, you have to up it uh, a bit. But well, that's what was exciting to me to see more of the family and get to do a bunch of bigger action stuff and more monsters and gods and all of it. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you think we kept some of that charm from the first one because that's the trick, especially with a sequel where it's yeah.
In the last few years. The wizard gave me superpowers. Shazam! And then everybody got superpowers. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know exactly what you mean. There is that tendency sometimes with sequels to go so big that maybe some of the heart gets lost in it, but that absolutely was not kind of what I felt from this film. But you just touched on something there, just in terms of the scale of the action sequences. I saw that brilliant outtake with Grace's cape that malfunctioned during a wire stunt, and it got me thinking, as a director for you, when you see that final sort of shooting script, how on earth do you try and think, okay, this is what we're going to do practically? I mean, obviously there's a giant dragon. That's not something you're doing practically.
Right.
But how do you go about kind of deciding what's practical and what to do in post-production?
It takes a little bit. It's a long conversation with people who know more than me. No, but I did at first go like, well, some of these creatures like the Cyclops and the Minotaur, they are pretty humanoid. So it's like, can we do them practically? But and we did sort of talk to practical effects companies and sort of started going down that route. But then it turned into this thing of like, well, we're going to have to make CG versions of them anyway because we need so many of them and we need them to do things that guys in a suit just can't do. And then it's like, well, if we're making them anyway, if we go the full CGI route, then we can design them any way we want. Like we don't have to like fit a guy's legs into the Minotaur's legs and things like that. And it made more sense, and Peter Safran, who produced Aquaman and a bunch of other DC movies, he was also telling me about like, well, on Aquaman with the trench creatures, they did them practically, and then it's like it didn't look good. So then you have to replace it anyway, and then that's wasted money. So it's like, well, let's not waste money. Let's put everything up on the screen.
Hey, policing!
Started from the bottom, now the whole team here.
The Doc, we have one job to do: save the world.
And I saw, so you kind of touched on it again there as well, that there were practical versions of the heads of some of those creatures on set. And firstly, I mean, those designs, even when they're CGI, look like they're taken straight from a 1960s stop motion adventure, which I just loved. They look so great on screen. But does it, to have that kind of physical prop there, even just for lighting and for actors to kind of get their line of sight, when you're doing those big crowd scenes where you're trying to get the sense of, we were in real danger here, does that help you to kind of get the authenticity when there is something physical for the actors to look at?
Yeah, I mean, in the big crowd scenes, you don't really show that to the crowds. We fired guns in the air like blanks to get people to run and be scared of the dragon, like bang bang run. No, but I mean, you do whatever you can to keep some physicality in there. Like we did have, for these creatures, we did have performers on set, like really tall guys in gray suits, so they can like slap things and like pick people up and things like that. And so actors actually have something to work against, but it does look a little silly on set with just big guys in gray going around. But it helps a lot to have something there, so it's not just like oh, imagine there's a bunch of monsters here.
And did I spy a little director cameo, maybe being carried away by one of those monsters at one point, possibly?
Yes. Yeah, this is my first. I've done cameos before with my voice, or like I was a creature performer in the first movie, like Crocodile. But this is the first time you actually see my face in a film. But that was really fun to get to do that stunt, getting hoisted up in the air on wires and things. And it makes you appreciate what the actors go through, because you do get pretty bruised by those things.
Well, that's it for my time. Thank you so much for chatting with me about the film. I will hopefully see you later at the screening down in Leicester Square, because I'm heading down there.
Oh, nice.
So enjoy. Best of luck with the movie, and thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, Super Friends. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button just down below and hit the bell so that you can get notified whenever we release brand new videos. In fact, there's 2 more waiting for you to watch right here below. So what are you waiting for? Why not click play?